How might surviving in the wilderness without supplies impact your story? What challenges does this present to your story and character? Could this affect your world building? What are some useful skills for your character to know? Find out on this episode. Welcome to Writing Roll with Allie. I'm Allie, and this is episode number 26, Wilderness Survival Without Supplies. Today we are going to talk about what your character needs to survive in a wilderness survival situation if they have no supplies. Maybe your character got lost in the woods, stranded on a deserted island, broke down in their car, survived an airplane crash, was kidnapped and left for dead, or many other scenarios. Let's talk about what they are going to need to survive. First, this will depend on what happened to your character to find themselves in this situation and the era that you are writing. If they escaped the bad guys, then the first thing is to get to safety. If they were in a plane crash, the first thing might be to assess for injuries or get away from the plane's fuel. This will take a little discretion, but the point is that safety and being alive would be the first focus in these scenarios. After they are safe and have been assessed and cared for any injuries, the next thing is to check for the likelihood of being rescued or finding a way to contact help. If your character can see a house, they can walk to it. It isn't a wilderness survival story. Assuming that there is no easy way out, they need to assess if it will be likely that help will come or they will need to find help. If they were in a plane crash, they might expect help or at least a cleanup crew. If you're writing a kidnapping where they escaped in a place that no one but the bad guys knew about, it's safe to say that no help is coming. If it is safe, your character should consider a distress signal. Flares, fire, or 3 of anything. 3 gunshots, 3 lines, 3 piles of rocks. 3 is the international distress signal and is recognized all over the world. However, if there are bad guys or maybe hostile natives, this would not be something that they would want to do, as it would likely lead the bad guys right to them. It is something that they will keep in mind, but there are other things they should do. When they use distress signals, they will be at the discretion of your character. But there are some important survival things that we need to talk about that need done first. Also, if they are using a flare gun, it will be important to decide if they will shoot it off at the beginning and risk wasting it, save it for when help is most likely to see it, or keep it for potentially making a fire which they might need at some point. Now, there are 3 things that they will need no matter if they are staying in one spot or moving toward help. First is shelter. The shelter needs to be somewhere warm and out of the elements if possible. Maybe they use plain parts to make a shelter. They could build a lean-to. The hollow of a tree could be adapted to be warm and dry. Perhaps the cave is used to stay out of a raging storm. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Why isn't water first on this list? The answer is simple, as you can survive 3 days without water, but hypothermia can set in as little as 5 minutes, while normally it is within a half an hour. Hypothermia is defined as a rapid decline in the body's temperature that causes the body to be dangerously cold. This means it is not exclusive to winter and can happen even in summertime. When night comes, temperatures will drop in all seasons. In some places like the desert, it's hot in the day and cold at night. Your character needs to be ready to fend off heat loss and have a place to warm up. Most importantly, they need to stay dry. Wet clothing is the fastest way to lose body heat. If your character stays in one place, they will have to do this once. If your character is moving towards help, then they will need to think about this a few hours before dusk every night so they have time to make the shelter. If bad guys are following them, they might also take the shelter down and try to hide where the shelter had been. Another thing to think about is if there are bad guys, is that your character might try to make the shelter blend into the environment as much as possible. They want to make sure there is nothing that will draw the eye to the spot and give away their location. The next thing they need is water. As I said, a person can only survive 3 days without water, but they will start to feel the effects of this before then. The first signs of dehydration are dry mouth, excessive feelings of thirst, dizziness, headache, and fatigue. As dehydration advances, the symptoms expand to include confusion, weakness, flush or red skin, swollen feet, high heart rate, low blood pressure, muscle cramp, heat intolerance, constipation, dark urine, slowing down of urinating, no sweating, or sweating stops. Some of the signs in children are cold hands and feet, sunken in soft spot on a baby's head, no tears when they cry, sunken in eyes, rapid breathing, lethargia, blotchy skin. Later stages can cause seizures, loss of consciousness, and death. Your character will need to find a water source. There are many ways to do this. Melting snow, collecting rainwater, using a bandana around their ankle to collect the dew and wringing it out to get the water. Rivers, streams, ditches, water trapped inside plants, digging in the dry stream bed, and many more. If they are trapped on an island in the middle of the ocean, they could distill the ocean water to remove the salt. If your character is planning to stay in one place, this is the stage they might learn that they need to move to a better spot to better access the water. They should leave a signal that others can't miss, like a large pile of rocks that make an arrow where they are going. If your character is on the move, they will want to look for water as they go. Equally important, they will want to look for a way to carry the water with them as they go. Bamboo is a great way as it is hollow on the inside and comes in segments, making it easier to carry. If it is modern, maybe they find water bottles in the woods and some leftover trash. Even Tupperware dishes could be helpful. Something to think about is that if your character finds a river or stream, following water will likely bring them to other humans if they follow it far enough. That said, depending on where the story takes place, it could be quite a long way away. Historical stories and stories in remote areas will take much longer to find humans, villages, and settlements than a modern story. The next thing that your character will need is food. Depending on where you look, the estimated time to starve to death is between 30 and 70 days. Many people think that they can hunt and trap small animals. However, most people have never done that and will likely fail many times before they even get a single one. And that is if they get any. The next problem is that they need to cook the meat. Making a fire by rubbing two sticks together is a learned skill, not something that you're just going to sit down and do. In fact, you are likely to get many blisters on your hand when trying to do that. It is more likely they will find berries, nuts, wild mushrooms, and things of this nature. It is a valuable skill to know edible plants from non-edible plants. This can be the difference between life and death for your character. Shelter, water, and food are the three things that your character will need. Will they have to do more? Of course, but these are the three things that are needed. Other things that they can pick up on their way include defense weapons, things for fire, water containers, making a knife, something to help stay warm, etc. Remember, staving off boredom can help keep your character's mind busy and fight against depression and feelings of hopelessness. There are wilderness skills that will be helpful with these and make survival a bit easier, but are no guarantee of survival. Some of the skills are knowing edible plants and non-edible plants, water filtration, fire making, shelter making skills, how to find water or how to distill salt water, first aid, how to make rope from grass or tree bark, weather signs and signals. Fun fact. If you want to know the approximate temperature, you can add 37 to the number of chirps a cricket makes in 15 seconds. Now, if your character has a way to time 15 seconds might be important. Now, for everyone's favorite part, what could possibly go wrong? Well, let me tell you, likely to go wrong, your character cannot find anything to carry water in. They will either need to stay close to the water or risk moving on and possibly not having water for an extended period of time. Also likely to go wrong, your character knows nothing about directions and finds themselves walking around in circles. Possible to go wrong, your character wastes valuable time trying to hunt when they have never done it before and they catch nothing. Also possible to go wrong, your character doesn't realize they are dehydrated and then the confusion leaves them making some bad decisions. Unlikely to go wrong, your character found trash in the woods that is covered in some kind of toxin and infects themselves. This is more likely in an apocalyptic story. Also unlikely to go wrong, your character finds themselves facing a wild animal, most likely a snake, but it could be predators such as wolves, lions, or bears. Improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character takes shelter in a cave and it already has occupants. This could be people, such as hostile natives, or wild animals. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character is stranded so long that they are able to build a good life for themselves wherever they are, like Robinson Crusoe or Swiss Family Robinson. While some people are not gone that long, it is always a possibility. You can find helpful links to learn more on my website, alleyhart.com. That's ALLEYHART.com. Thanks for listening. Subscribe and follow for more episodes. A new episode comes out every Monday. Until then, happy wordsmithing.